Oh man, Coop's gonna finally find his family. I've been waiting for this reunion.
Okay, fuck you.
Yeah, and I can guarantee the nuts of the writers are absolutely blue for this one. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for Fallout, this one's going to be doing my review for the Fallout Season 2 finale. This is for Episode 8. So, I am here to talk about the end of Season 2 of Fallout, man. This one's been an insane journey. We have had 8 episodes of this season, and week to week this season as well. It has not been a bingeable format as it was for Season 1. Now, I've had a lot of comments on this season. I think there's been a lot of good. I think there's been a certain few storylines that have kind of dragged. Not bad, just kind of, dragged its feet a little bit. Getting into this episode, my initial reaction is I liked most of it. I liked the episode. I thought it was good. I thought they did a good job with it. I think it set up a lot of intriguing things for the third season, but I have a few things I would change personally, at least in my opinion. So this episode focuses on the aftermath of what happened with the deathclaws. We've got Maximus in this one, who fights the deathclaws. Now, I thought this was really cool, as you had Thaddeus there with the rest of them, and he was like, hey, I got like all these bottle caps, you know what I mean? You really want to bet? Because I bet he'll win, And I thought that was really cool. So the fight with Maximus and the deathclaws were fantastic. Very much enjoyed all that stuff. I really liked the way that they kind of did it to where Maximus kind of, fought in the armor. He was getting messed up after a while. And then after a certain time, he kind of remembered all those times when he was a kid and how he kind of hid from everything, you know what I mean? And then he kind of decided, he was like, you know what? I'm going to get out of that armor and I'm going to stand up towards this thing because my armor's fucking destroyed, And he's going to stand there and not be that scared kid anymore that hid, you know what I mean, inside of something to get away and to survive, and you know what I mean? And he stepped out there and he stood up on his own 2 feet and he, was ready to face the thing head on. But then the NCR comes in, and we get to see, the soldiers. They all kind of come in there. They shoot the frickin' things down and stuff. They shoot all the deathclaws. You got everybody coming out. I kind of would have liked to see the guy with the shotgun that was inside, like, the store that was getting ready to go out there and fight. I'd kind of like to see them help out and have, like, a badass moment, you know what I mean? But then they kind of just let, the soldiers come in, so it was kind of whatever. It felt like a badass moment where everybody was going to help out and come out there and fight, and then we kind of didn't get that, So I was a little disappointed with that element, but it's a small issue. Aside from that, I liked the scene a lot. I thought it was really cool of Maximus. Maximus is an absolute badass, and he's been a highlight for me this whole season. I think Maximus has been definitely one of the best characters of this season, and to be honest, I think honestly my favorite of Season 2 of Fallout, which I know might sound kind of controversial, but I really like the journey his character has taken this season. So we've also got Cooper. He's obviously dealing with House. He's got like a pit boy that, obviously House gives him. He goes down this hallway and he tries to get to his family. Now, before that, obviously, you've got Lucy. She's dealing with Hank. She's dealing with her father. And he basically tries to brainwash her in this episode. So, Lucy is almost brainwashed. She sees, like, the head or whatever that's there that's being controlled. I think she, like destroys it or whatever. So now the hive mind that Hank has with all those brainwashed people, won't be working as well anymore. And basically you have Hank, obviously, that kind of finds her, and you got one of his goons there that kind of, like, pins Lucy down, and they're about ready to brainwash her, and I was kind of like, damn, like, are we going to go into Season 3 and, like, we're going to have Lucy that's, like, brainwashed or something? I was kind of thinking that at first. But no, they end up, getting taken down. The one guy gets shot. Hank gets shot in the ass, which is a nice callback to the first episode. And you've got Ghoul that saves Lucy and shoots the one guy and shoots Hank in the ass. And then I like how he stands there and he's like, now, I would, regularly I wouldn't shoot you in the ass, but, it ain't my call to make. It's hers, And I think that's badass, because he showed right there that he formed a connection with Lucy. You know what I mean? He formed a bond. He formed, all that stuff. And it got to the point where, it's kind of like, yeah, he's going to give that option to Lucy whether or not, she should kill Hank, which I was chanting for her to kill Hank the entire time. I mean, this man is a piece of shit. He's an absolute monster, and he definitely deserves to die. But, Lucy has a different idea. And I really like this moment where Lucy confronts her dad about all the horrible shit that he's done. She has a very emotional scene where she kind of stands there with him. She asks him, what were you doing? You know what I mean? What was your goal? You know what I mean? And we get a very interesting reveal here. We find out that Steph was actually, because, she can't age either, right? She's been here since, like, the last 200 years. We find out that Hank hooked up with Steph back before the Wasteland, which was really strange. I didn't expect that twist at all, but apparently Hank and Steph were a thing, It's strange considering that Steph was a good friend of Lucy's, but, yeah, so that's interesting as well. So we've got that, and then it kind of, Lucy decides that, she's going to dull his mind, and he decides to do it himself, and he says that he loves her and stuff like that. Really nice music, really nice sequence between the two of them there, and then obviously he kind of, dulls his mind and stuff like that, doesn't remember who he is, he turns into a happy person, kind of reminds you of Pluribus, you know what I'm saying, and then you've got Lucy that, of course, kind of sees that, and she doesn't know how to react, but then Maximus comes in without the armor, and you get a beautiful reunion between Maximus and Lucy, which I was so happy about, honestly. That is one of my favorite moments of the episode, because I really, really wanted to see them two have a reunion. They haven't seen each other since the last finale. I was kind of getting impatient, that they would wait until season 3 to do that, so I'm glad that they did, give us that reunion right then and there, and it was a beautiful scene. The music in this episode as well was absolutely sensational. So I loved all that. Now, we then also get minor pieces as well, kind of spread out here. That's like the bulk of like the plot of this episode. Obviously you've got like, a few other, minor pieces, but that's the main, thing, right? The Enclave is, on its way. You have Steph that contacts them, which Steph didn't do much in this episode. She kind of just sat in a room and called them in. So it looks like in 301, the vault is going to get attacked, right? So, by the Enclave. So that's going to be a big thing, obviously. That's going to be a big moment. But that's all kind of Steph had in this one, unfortunately. She didn't really get anything else, I guess, aside from, like, the flashback, sequences. And then on top of that, we also have, of course, Kevin, right? Kevin, I'm going to call him Kevin. He was in the opening of the episode. He kind of came in there with his crew at the end. They didn't really do much, but he kind of came in there at the end of the episode and kind of became the leader and all that stuff. I thought that was kind of a random, random inclusion of him, but, it was all right, you know what I mean? By the way, rest in peace to the actress that played his mother in Home Alone, by the way. I just figured I'd mention that. That was very sad this week as well, but yeah, so he'll have a role in season 3, and then we also have Norm. Now, I've been vocal about this bullshit the whole season. I mean, I have not liked this man's plot at all. Like, you've got these, like, creatures that come in there and they kill all the people that were terrorizing him, and there's blood everywhere and stuff like that. He saves his one friend, and then they kind of get out of there, and that's kind of just it. Norm, man, they done him dirty this season, because I really like Norm, but I don't really care about his storyline this season, and I didn't really care about the vault either, so I'm glad they didn't put that in here at least, but the Norm stuff was really just dreadful this whole season, at least in my opinion. But yeah, so that was alright, and then basically you get, like, a post-credit in this one where, you get, like, the Brotherhood that's gonna be coming in here next season, so that should be something, and then, well, the other only thing that really happened this episode is we had Cooper. Now, I want to talk about this, and I'm saving this for the end of the review on purpose. So, we got the fights going on next season. Lucy and Maximus are back together. Hank is still alive, from what I'm seeing, so, he's good, but for some reason, now we've been building up to this the whole time. Cooper finally gets to his family, Barbara and his daughter, of course, and he opens it up and House is there, and then you find out that she isn't there. She's actually in Colorado. Okay? And I just rolled my eyes. I was like, "Oh my god." So we get Maximus back with Lucy, and now we have to have Cooper separated with Lucy now. Why can't we get these characters all in one thing? I don't understand. And they really, really blue-balled us. I wanted that reunion in this episode. Now, granted, you know, I'm sure we'll get the reunion at some point. I'm sure that's, you know, yet to come. But it felt very anticlimactic to do it that way, in my opinion, at least. That, you know, we didn't get anything on his family. He's still out looking for them into a third season now. That's a little, yeah, that's a little, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, in my opinion. I thought that was kind of, I don't know. I felt like that was a little anticlimactic, given the fact that the whole episode he's walking down this hallway, and you keep cutting back and forth, you know, between scenes of him walking down this hallway, and you're thinking, okay, by the time you get to it, we're going to get a big reveal, you know, and then it's like, no, you know, nothing. So, I don't know, I thought that was kind of lame, I'm not going to lie to y'all, but, overall, I thought it was a good end to the season. I think Lucy being back with Maximus was great, the deathclaw fights were good. I think overall, the, Cooper stuff just kind of lacked for me, just a little bit. I felt it was a little anticlimactic that we didn't really see anything, you know. He did get arrested in the flashbacks, but that was kind of it as well. For the flashbacks, he just kind of got arrested, and that was kind of it, you know. I think my favorite character this episode, though, was Lucy. I liked her confrontation with her dad. I thought that was all really good stuff. I kind of think that they could have had Lucy kill her dad. I think that would have been actually quite badass if they would have done that, because they talk about how Lucy doesn't, you know, she's never taken a human life before, you know. I think that would have been an interesting, you know, route to take it. But, you know, we get Hank for season 3, so I mean, you know, we'll see what he's about in season 3. I just feel like certain plots in this season really drag this down. Like, this is a good finale. This is a good season. I would give season 2 overall an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a good season. I think for the most part, you're getting your 10 out of 10 episodes. I had a lot of 10s this season, so I'm not complaining there. But I feel like these last few episodes kind of felt like as if, like, all these splintered plots, they didn't know how to wrap up properly. At least in my opinion. There was a lot of good things, and I think there was a lot of good storylines, but it felt overstuffed. That's my biggest criticism of this season. Like, Norm, we didn't need that plot. Steph, it didn't really feel like that went anywhere, at least this season. Lucy and her dad, I was a little underwhelmed by the way that concluded this season, though I liked the moments between them, though, you know what I mean, and I did like some of the stuff they did. Again, Cooper looking for his family again, I feel like is getting a little much, you know what I mean, but, I don't know, it is what it is. I think overall this was a good finale, but not a great finale, which is why I'm going to grade it an 8 out of 10. I think it was an 8 out of 10. I think it was overall very good still, and I think the reason I'm going to still give it a high enough rating is because I really, really like the actors, and I really like the, you know, the stories, you know, for these characters, and I really, really like the reunion between Lucy and Maximus, and, you know, I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff they had going on there, so I liked enough of it. But I think this episode could have had spent more time, you know, focusing on things that weren't filler storylines or anticlimactic conclusions to certain things that I felt like could have had a bit of a better conclusion. That's where I would kind of sit on this episode. So that's my thoughts on the finale. It was a good season overall. I'd give season 2, you know, about an 8 out of 10 probably for the season as well, and an 8 out of 10 for this finale. It's you know, it's an 8. It's good stuff. It's a good TV show. It's still good, but I think overall they could have done better. I think overall they definitely could have. So that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments down below, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. And if you're new to the channel, guys, and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for Fallout. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies did a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a straight fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.